I'm joined now by Mike Bako from New York City. He's sports managing editor at dailynational.com. Mike, great to have you back. When you think of host cities preparing for the Olympics, you usually think about the venues and the infrastructure, not necessarily training the Olympic staff and volunteers. I want to get your thoughts on what you're seeing so far. Is it too early to do all this?
Well, it's not too early because you have so far to go. You mentioned about training the local people, training the local doctors to be prepared. Now, when you're also thinking about the local people, their interest in the sport, you're talking about a country and a nation that's not necessarily known for their love of winter sports. So when you're starting from such a low point in terms of interest and understanding, you really need to ramp up 4 years in advance and beyond. That's why Beijing is looking to finish some of these stadiums and these venues by 2019, by the end of 2019, to allow to allow people to get used to having them in their communities and to understand what those venues are going to be there for. Yeah,
we saw a glimpse of what to expect in China at the end of the Pyeongchang Winter Games in South Korea. Just want to get your thoughts on what you've seen so far.
What I'm seeing is just a country that's really embracing this task, and everyone being behind it. You're seeing some areas of the country and specifically around Beijing, participation up 30%, and we're still 4 years away. People doing alpine skiing, people doing skating, trying to figure out what it is that they like so they can watch, potentially participate. And I really think that this will sow its seeds for future generations in terms of future Winter Olympians. You look here in 1994, the U.S. hosted the World Cup. That spawned a whole generation of soccer fans and of people that were playing the game. And now, to a certain degree, we're seeing the fruits of that. So it's a long tail approach. 1994 was a long time ago. We may be seeing 20 plus years for China to fully embrace the Winter Games, but they're on their way to being prepared for the Winter Games right now.
And Mike, we know that China places huge emphasis on technology and innovation and everything they're doing right now. How do you think China will incorporate artificial intelligence and some energy-saving features in the games? Could we see an improved experience for people visiting and going to the games?
Yeah, I think we saw some of those seeds being sown in 2008, where they went above and beyond and really try to make those green games. And I think we're going to see some of that because they're using some of the same stadiums and the same infrastructure now with more technology, advanced technology, whether it be, solar, being able to power some of these venues, facial recognition to speed through, security to a certain degree, different training techniques as well. These are all the different ways that technology is being embraced for these games, by China, by Beijing, and by other participating countries. So, the embracing technology is really not on the cutting edge anymore. It's what you need to do just to be competitive.
I know we're still 4 years away, but what kind of legacy do you think we could see from the Beijing Winter Games? I know when people think back to the Summer Games 10 years ago, they think back to the opening and closing ceremonies. What do you think we could expect to see 4 years from now?
I think the spectacle will be there. The entertainment factor for the opening and closing games obviously is going to be there because they're going to be planning for that. As you mentioned, those were the indelible images from 2008 for the Summer Games. But what I really think that Beijing would want to have the legacy of these Winter Games is the infrastructure, the interest in Winter Games, the stadiums not becoming these white albatrosses like in so many other countries, people actually using these venues, embracing the winter sports, and it not just becoming a footnote, 2022 as being the host of the Winter Games. It's really a jumping off point and a stepping off point to bigger things for them.
All right, Mike Bako, always great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Great to be with you.